Josh, who's running the show, Dakota, and Dylan, and Spike, and Jessica, and Justin, and my wife Carrie. We're all trying to put on a good show for you folks. So thank you guys for making it all possible and drinking extra Red Bull so we can make those long drives. I also want to thank the city of Hoboken. It makes a tremendous difference. If you're ever in the city of Torrance, pay them no mind. I don't like that city at all. They don't care about the movie tradition that they have. But the city of Hoboken, now they are proud of their movie heritage here. And in particular, Jerry Fallows, thank you so much for putting everything that you did into the screening. You are truly wonderful, and so is your town. So it's been a pleasure to work with you guys. You guys are very, very lucky to have that type of citizen in the ranks of the city of Hoboken. So, also tonight, I want to thank our sponsor Levi's for making it all possible. It's a free screening. All the screenings have been free all across the country. It's courtesy of Levi's and their We Are All Workers campaign. That end of applause. So I'd also like to bring up is Jim Fisher around in the audience? Jim, come on down. So Jim is the author of a book on the movie and the story and the history called On the Waterfront. And I think he's going to set the stage and contextualize what we're going to experience here today. Tell you a little bit about the background of On the Waterfront.
Hey, thanks. Hi, everybody. Hey, it's great to be here, I'll tell you. Thanks. You know, I was a two-time college dropout, in 1976. I moved to 604 Bloomfield Street here in Hoboken. And when I used to drive a taxi cab in New York City, and I'd walk over down Washington Street and back every night, and I'd see longshoremen, guys who'd worked for years on the piers here in Hoboken, coming hanging out in the saloons and stuff and on the streets. And there was still a lot of longshoremen in Hoboken in the 70s, but there wasn't work for longshoremen here because the piers had all moved over to Newark and Elizabeth, which is the center of the port of New York and New Jersey now. But I was fascinated ever since then by the story. All I can tell you, just a couple real quick things. The movie was shot here on location 35 days and nights between November of '53 and January of 1954. It was freezing cold throughout the shoot. The great director Elia Kazan said, "We don't have to worry about anybody overacting because it's so damn cold, nobody can overact because it makes everybody's outdoors together." The dock workers who are depicted in this film, almost entirely, they're real longshoremen. That is, the folks who, and including many with speaking roles. They played themselves. It's an incredible story. The screenwriter Bud Schulberg, whose son Ben is with us tonight. Bud Schulberg began working on this project in late 1949, and his creative and spiritual collaborator was a Jesuit priest who worked over here in Manhattan on the west side named John Corridon. And of course, he's depicted in the film by the great Carl Malden, who plays Father Pete Barry. And on the real waterfront of history, these two men, Bud Schulberg, the writer, and Pete Corridon, the Jesuit labor priest, they worked together for 5 years, not only to make this magnificent film, which really is one of the great artworks of the 20th century, but also they worked very, very closely to try to win real reforms for dock workers and their families here on both sides of the river, the port of New York and New Jersey. And finally, and so you see that struggle. The struggle is commemorated in this magnificent film. Finally, on Hoboken itself, for all the incredible gifts that go into making this film, people will start with Marlon Brando's incandescent, unforgettable performance. He basically invents modern acting in this film. But the other thing is the other great star of this film is the city of Hoboken itself. They originally figured they were going to shoot the film over on the west side of Manhattan for a lot of political reasons and reasons related to hostility to the cause that they were representing in this film. They weren't able to make the film right across the river, so they basically were driven or pushed over here to Hoboken. And they settled on this location in very short notice. Like October of '53 is when they decided they would shoot it over here, and they began shooting November, just a few weeks later. It's amazing. Nobody involved in the production of this film had ever been to Hoboken, much less know anything about it. And as you'll see in the film, the magnificent locations, the churches, the parks, the piers, the settings, it was like a miracle. It was so fortuitous that the city itself represented this incredible array of visual riches into which this magnificent story was set. As Father Corridon himself said, who used to visit the set to watch the film being made, he said, a special grace, a special spirit has settled upon the production of this film. It's come over the entire production. And he must have been right, because they did the thing in 35 days. It was a low-budget, independent, black and white film. And I think you're going to agree, those of you who haven't seen it when you're done tonight, it really does represent one of the real triumphs of 20th century filmmaking, and for that matter, of American art. And so, enjoy it, okay? And let me just say one last thing, just because of all the famous scenes in the film, one isn't treated as often as others. And I was joking with Ben Schulberg earlier today about how Bud's magnificent script, he incorporated all this dialogue he'd heard from real longshoremen, and he was very, very fastidious. It has this incredible kind of gritty reality and authenticity in the dialogue. But there's one improvised scene you got to take a close look at. And all I'm going to say is, when Edie Doyle and Terry Malloy are crossing Elysian Park together, watch what happens when she drops the glove. Because dropping the glove was not in any of the scripts that Bud wrote. And watch what happens when she drops the glove and Terry Malloy picks up that glove. And watch how it changes the entire dynamic and chemistry between them, and indeed changes the entire film. That's one of those moments of grace that this film is really just totally enriched by. And so, hey, you're going to love it. It's great to be here. This is a thrill, man. I'll tell you. Have fun, all right? Thank you.
We actually have Ben Schulberg, the son.